Today we bring out the topic of telling you how important it is for a project to have a good tokenomics, and if a tokenomics is bad, can it lead to instant failure? And let's find out. And before that, let's understand that if traditional businesses need financial audits, then why don't Web3 projects audit their tokenomics? Because I've seen a lot of times that the projects just simply put out their tokenomics and they don't really audit it, and they don't really get any expert advice. They just think what it's best and they just put it out. So let's understand if it really does have a bad impact or not. So before that, let's understand the concept of what is tokenomics and what are the key elements of it. So basically, a tokenomics is an economic structure of a token, which means that you are defining what your tokens is doing and how much percentage of tokens is allocating to what kind of particulars. Just to simplify in terms, like for example, if you're launching 100 tokens, then you want to specify that okay, 50 tokens are going for this utility, like 50 tokens are going to be released into the private sale, another 10 tokens are going to be in my treasury, another then the 20 tokens are going to be in the reserve, which leads to the last 20 tokens which will be going for the public sale. So basically, a tokenomics is nothing but the allocation of tokens, just to explain in a very simple term, and how efficiently you are allocating a token. But it does not only stop to the allocation point, it also means that how future proof your current structure of a token is. And in the future, if for example, if you're launching a project such as a stable coin, then tokenomics can play a very important role. Otherwise, if you are building a project and for that project you are saying that this token is going to be representing that project in terms of web3 stocks, then in that case also tokenomics is a kind of an investment hold. But if a like if a token is something like a USDT, a US peg token, a Euro peg token, any stable coin, algorithmic stable coin, then there needs to be an immense critical need of having a tokenomics auditing, and tokenomics play a very important role. So in the further down the slides, we are also going to explain about a case study of one of the collapse that happened into a stable coin, and what was the result and how it could have been prevented. But before that, let me first tell you the key elements of tokenomics, which are none other than token supply and distribution, which means that how many tokens are going to what kind of particulars and who gets the token and when. Then are the utility and incentives, like why do people need these tokens. And then come the governance, like who control the token economy. So let's understand why is tokenomics critical. So for that, a strong tokenomics model ensures sustainable token value over the time. So which means that if your tokenomics say, let's say if you are building a project that requires your community to hold your token for a long time, so if you are building your tokenomics in a very efficient manner, then you will make sure that the tokens which people are buying, they are not really getting all the tokens at once, like they are not instant release other like and rather than that, they will be getting those tokens over a period of significant time. So in this case, what you are doing is you are making sure that the community is holding that token for a while, which will reflect your on the like if everyone in your community is holding your token for a while, it will reflect on your entire project that your project has the tokens which are given to the users and they are holding on to it. So it is going to play a very important role into your the future of your token, and it prevents from a sudden dumping and a sudden price collapse. So for example, if I buy the token, and after the rise, if like let's say if I get a token on the $1, and after the token just releases and the price just raised to 1.5, I'll just instantly dump my tokens and I'll just have a good perfect exit. And in this way, it is nothing but a pump and dump scheme. So it is all giving to a meme coin kind of thing. So it prevents a good tokenomics can prevent dumping and sudden price collapses, dumping of sudden whale and whatnot. And it also aligns with the incentives for the users. So for example, if users want to stake for the developers and investors, and it encourages long-term participation and holding of the token. And on the contrary, if tokenomics is poorly designed, it can lead to excessive inflation, unfair distribution, and market manipulation, causing the token to lose credibility, as I've explained already earlier. And for this case only, as I've highlighted, we need to audit the token. So let's now understand how it leads to what. And without any further ado, let's dive deep into the case study of the Luna collapse, the most infamous collapse, which was the Terra Luna. So basically, just to give you an idea of Terra Luna, it was a stable coin which was built on algorithmic kind of stable coin. And it had the symbol of UST, and it was mainly designed to be pegged to 1:1. Now what was the problem is that they didn't really had a real collateral backing in the bank. So how does a stablecoin function is that, so for example, if I say that my stablecoin has a value of $1, then I need to show that the $1 is in cash or in gold reserve is backed into the bank. So there needs to be an audit between the bank and my tokenomics, and then there like needs to be a immense auditing. So if in case that my system is checking that if the value on my market is as similar to as the value which is reserved in the bank, then the peg is always maintained. But in the case of Luna, it was just working under the market confidence that okay, I might have this much amount of token which is banked in the bank, so which led to a large withdrawal event, and it triggered panic. And it just like in a matter of days, the value of the US dollar pegged went from $1 to just 10 cents, and it led to a large market collapse, and investors lost over $40 billion, shaking the trust in the entire cryptocurrency industry. So in this way, as Houston printed more Luna and restored the peg, the inflation skyrocketed and Luna's value plummeted. So if there was a good tokenomics here in between, and if it was highly audited, then it would have been prevented. So now understand what is tokenomics auditing. So the tokenomics auditing means that it is a structured review that ensures token economy is secure, it's function and sustainable, and the best part, it's not false. So basically, it evaluates supply, incentives, liquidity, and governance to identify risk before they cause value, like before they cause failures. And in terms, what it also does is that it also ensures that when a project is working, how it is working, and what kind of value it is giving out to the user. So it also gives a sense that when well, let's say if there is a lots of governance included in the project, then it gives to the user that this project can be highly controlled, and it will also prevent the project from releasing their token, and will give them an idea that their project will underperform, and there can be changes that they can notice. So why it's needed is that it's prevent liquidity crisis and token crashes. Second, it ensures distribution and long-term stability, and third, it's build trust with investors and community. So, what are the different ways to audit a token economy? The first is always to have expert audits inbuilt. So basically, what the expert audits do is that they manual evaluation by tokenomics professionals. Like with the team, our team tokenomics is also highly specialized in this. We are continuously auditing the tokenomics of the projects, and we also help in building it. So what we do is that we also review the token supply, incentives, and governance structures. Other than that, the second part is the modeling the audit. So to use some mathematical models to test different economic scenarios. We also predict price stability, liquidity, and demand over time. In our previous tokenomics, we have also created a graph of how might the project perform. We do this by using Python codes, and to ensure that how it is using and how it is working in the different scenarios, and then create simulation audits, like test how a token economy behave in a real world conditions, and then identifies weaknesses by simulating market stress and user activity. So why do web3 projects needs tokenomics audits? So the answer might be clearly in the front of you, that the tokenomics audits prevents the web3 projects from leading into the failure. It helps to identify the risk before launch and ensures long-term stability. And the auditing process follows a structured framework to detect potential weaknesses. The tokenomics auditing framework are the business token interaction, which means that does the token add real value or not, or it is just another meme coin project. And then comes the allocation and distribution, which means that is the token allocated fair and structured? Are the vesting period, the cliff period, the locking period are properly aligned or not? How much amount of time should be allocated to what particulars, like how much percentage of token should be allocated to liquidity, to the reserve pool, to staking, and etc. Then the structural analysis, like evaluates sustainability, governance, and market forces, like at what time, and even at what time can be the best time to launch your token to ensure the highest gains. And then evaluate sustainability, governance, like how much control you should have on your token and how much control it should not, like how much it should be centralized and decentralized. what parts of control and access should be there to the team, and what part should be made for the community. And then stability and stress test, like in conditions of a bull run and the bear run, what could be the performance of the token, and the models which reflect the real world risk and the market shocks as well. So, to get more into the structural analysis in the token audits, the key factors are the cash flows. The first which checklist is that this the model generate sustainable revenue stream. So basically, it should not only be giving to the community; it should also be having some good gains for the project. A good economic mechanisms, like are the token incentives aligned with the long term growth, and the demand drivers, like what mechanism ensures token continuous token demands. And governance, like is decision making decentralized and transparent. And then is the empirical proof, like are these successful case studies supporting this model. And then the stability and stress testing in tokenomics, which means that the market shocks, can the token withstand extreme price drops, what happens if liquidity providers withdraw funds suddenly, and how does a token react to suddenly like to a sudden supply increase. And then the price projection, like can the token maintain its long term stability, then does it remain valuable under different adoption scenarios, and are there inflationary or deflationary risk accounted for already. And then comes the last, which is the feedback loops and risks, which are like are these mechanisms that amplify the crashes, just like it happened with the Terra Luna. And then can the system self correct during the extreme market volatility, and are liquidations or automated self of risk present. So basically, these are all the factors which are included in this. And with this, we come to an end of our webinar. And by the end of the webinar, I would just like to take a minute of you to understand, to give you a brief about how we are expert in this. So whatever we have shown in the slides, we perform intensive testing and we build a real world simulations in our tokenomics. So if you're planning to launch your tokenomics, or if you want a tokenomics review, or if you want us to build your tokenomics from the sketch, we are happy to build that. And we have been doing this for the past few years, and we are an immense expert in this. So if you want to have it, let's reach out and have a more discussion on it. And until then, stay tuned for the next webinar, because we always promise to bring a latest cutting edge webinar every week. And see you soon. See you next week. Bye bye.